Hi, my name's John Setcher. I'm here with Courtney Lloyd, who's our animal production specialist. This is the first interview we'll have over the course of the next several months to run on Auctions Plus regarding some relevant animal nutrition production topics. So this month we've chosen to talk regarding some weaning sales that are up and coming at the moment. So Courtney, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, John. So at the moment, we've got some weaner sales happening around the area. So we thought we'd have a chat about best practice going forward if you were to buy some weaners out of a sale. So I think the most important thing when you buy a line of cattle out of a sale is knowing what your end goal with those cattle are. If we know our end goal, that will then give us a good indication going forward of what best practice is for our animal health going forward.
Yep.
So I think we need to determine whether we're looking to retain heifers for breeding stock or whether we're looking to background or even grow out to a processor weight. So if we're looking to retain our breeding stock, that will determine obviously a more stringent vaccination program in terms of our reproductive health. So heifers are at our highest risk of any issues with our reproductive health because they're naive to a lot of our issues. So obviously our 7-in-1 clostridial diseases are really important to vaccinate for, as well as pesty. Pesty's been named by MLA as one of the top 2 costs to the beef industry in terms of loss of production. Going forward, it's really important looking at the current season that we're in. A lot of stock haven't seen green feed for a period of time, so we're seeing some vitamin deficiencies present themselves. So especially our fat-soluble vitamins, like your A's and your E's. So they're important for your immune health, reproduction, and vision, especially for vitamin A, and vitamin D is really important for your calcium and phosphorus mobilisation, which also is really important if we're looking to feed grain. So going forward, I'd be looking at vitamin treatments, so your A, D and E's, your B12s are also really important, as well as your reproductive health. On the other end of the scale, we've got ones that we're looking to background. So I know that in the industry at the moment, you might be able to elaborate, John, on the current incentives we have for pre-vaccinated cattle going into feedlots. So we'd be looking at more your respiratory disease that would be important. So that's probably something to keep in mind as well. Also our parasite burden. So when we introduce cattle onto our property, we want to make sure we're doing a good quarantine drench. Every drench after that should be determined by our fecal egg count numbers. So that's something really important to consider. So I think our number one is obviously identifying cattle and what we're trying to achieve in terms of our production, and then going forward that will help us determine the appropriate animal health procedures.
And these producers that are buying these weaners, do they start from day zero? Is that day zero for them in terms of their animal health program?
Yeah, good point. So we can request an animal health statement that will give us a history of cattle, but if we cannot get our hands on that, it's really important to treat animals if they haven't been treated before. So for example, our vaccinations would be starting from our first primer. This is really important, especially at the moment if we're changing diets dramatically. Our clostridial diseases are really important in terms of our pulpy kidney. So if we change diets from a pasture diet to a grain, or even from a grain to a lush green pasture like a forage crop, we can have an issue with some pulpy kidney. So really important that we treat animals if they haven't been treated before, if we're unsure of their previous history.
Yep. And what's the best way then, Courtney, to get in touch with you and get some more information?
Yeah, definitely. So get in touch with any of your local Landmark stores. We have animal production specialists dotted all over Australia, so they'll be able to put you in contact with the person closest to you, and they'll be able to give you some region-specific advice on what they're currently seeing in terms of animal health and nutrition issues in your locality. So yeah, Get in touch with your local Landmark store and they'll be happy to help you out.
Beauty.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thanks all. Cheers.